I hear many people arguing about AI and automation, that it's not going to be such a big impact in the next 20 years or so. So I would like you to think about the next thing that I'm going to say. And you don't have to agree with it, but think about it. I'm 51 now. And recently, about a month ago, I bought myself a 3D printer, this one. And in less than a month, I am making my own designs. Imagine 20 years ago, when I was still a relative young man, I couldn't make these things. I couldn't have an idea in my head that I would make into a drawing and then had to make into a prototype or some kind of a first finished product. It was almost impossible, because in order to do so, I have to, and I had to, contact, for example, and find and pay an engineer to what I had in my mind, to put that on at least paper. And then I would have to find and pay for, evidently, a company that would make my idea. And that would have cost me maybe 10,000 euros, maybe 20,000 euros, or maybe 100,000 euros, depending on the project that you had in mind. So last month I bought this printer, and this is a 600 euro printer. This is not an expensive printer. This is a piece of equipment that most people can buy. So in less than a month, I don't need the engineer to give me all the advice, to make the drawing and to check everything. And suddenly I don't need the company that maybe employs 50 people to make the stuff that I got in my head. I can simply make now my own stuff and prototypes or whatever I want, whatever idea I got. I can make it, I can print it, and then I can go on social media and then I can check if it's going to work or not. And this is the future. I believe that, unfortunately, that if we don't change, if we don't find another way of running our economy, I think that we are going to be in big trouble in the next coming 20 years. Because the time that we could sell our own time, our personal time, in exchange for money is definitely coming to an end. More and more companies are automated. More and more stuff is made by AI. More and more jobs are done by AI. And these are jobs that these are not jobs that are going to be replaced like in the past, where you had new technology coming out, but you still had some kind of manual labor needed to build stuff. Now in this day and age, even now, you can have completely what they call in China dark factories, and these factories, they will produce with maybe one or two people keeping the machinery alive and doing all the maintenance. Maybe these factories can produce millions of pieces of stuff that we need, or that stuff that we want to buy. It's that simple. They don't need factories full of people anymore to build cars, to build planes, to build computers, to build whatever. They don't need. The technology is already there, and it's going to be a catastrophe in 20 years if politicians are unable to find new ways to get in money revenue, because we are so addicted to this system, this economical system where we exchange our time for money and we use money to buy all the things we need and want, that we really think that this is not going to end. And that's my argument. It's going to end. There will be a day that stuff is made, 90% of stuff is made, and even more, maybe 99% of things are going to be made and done by automation and AI. Yet people have to live. And you still need some kind of a system for the redistribution of the stuff that is made. Because otherwise, everyone would want to drive in a Ferrari, I think, you know? Or you would get all sorts of stuff, don't use it, and just let it rot away, just because you can have it. And that's not the idea, because the resources on the planet are finite. They're not infinite. All the fossil fuels, all the gold, all the stuff that we need to produce all these wonderful products, it's not something that is going to be infinitive. It's just not. So we're going to have to find ways to maybe give people a universal basic income of some kind that they can use to pay the rent and pay for utilities and pay for food. And maybe some people can even make some more money extra by making art, maybe, or maybe having a printer like this and printing stuff on it that they can sell to other people. You will always have some kind of commercial system going on, because people will remain inventive. But what I see is that most people aren't. 80%, 90% of people aren't that inquisitive and stuff. They just want to do a 9-to-5 job. They want to go and work in a factory. They come home and they don't want to do anything else. That's the nature of the beast, that, as I call it. So a small percentage of people will always be industrious, and they will always try to make some more money, and that should be allowed, because that's good. We still need, you're still going to need some forms or some things of competition. You're still going to need it. But most normal things, when they are made by AI and automation, well, you're not going to find a job in these things anymore. And that's the truth of it. And what I see is that no politician, not a political party, and I see this everywhere in the world, not just in Belgium or in Europe. I see this in the US as well. Especially the US has to take this warning serious, because they are so dependent and stuck up on that system of complete capitalism. You can only have capitalism if you can sell stuff to people who make money. If you no longer can sell stuff to people that have money, well, then your whole capitalist system is going to collapse. Because eventually the robots will stop producing stuff because nobody can buy it. That robot in a factory, that's not making any, that's not in need of any money. That doesn't eat, that robot. That doesn't get sick, that robot. That doesn't want to have a new car or a boat or go on holidays. Those are not the things that AI or robots in general need. People need these things. To be sound of mind, you need these things. And if you can't work to have these things anymore, eventually the system is going to collapse. So you need to have a different kind of system where people think differently about these things. Because you're still going to have to need some kind of a trade-off to spend your time and get something in return for it. That's what we need. Will we have it? That's a different question, because nobody is occupied with it. So think about it. Is the time that we exchange our personal time for money by working for companies and stuff, is that time going to end within maybe the next 20 years? And what can we do about it? I hope to open up a discussion about it. So please respond to it. I hope to get many reactions on this, because we need new ideas on how the world will be formed in the next 20 years. Socially, economically, we need it. We need new ideas. So discuss this online and leave a message and a call or a comment, and I hope that you like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening to View of the Future. Thank you.